Hey Stallion,
What's up, Panda?
what's that behind you?
Behind me,
Yeah, lurking in the corner.
in the corner?
Do you see it? It's staring right back at you.
What is that?
It's the RNG's podcast episode 5. Welcome back.
That explains why it has such pretty eyes.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
They're beautiful. They're like rubies. Oh no, those are actual rubies. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah,
Forgot I
you
was a
just have
sultan.
rubies just in your room. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, man. I'm a man of culture, I guess.
I just have a bed and a rag.
A bed and a rag?
Yeah,
Is,
yeah.
uh, by rag, do you mean your fucking blankie?
Nope, those are my clothes.
I thought your clothes were a potato sack. I thought you were a tiny little red panda wearing a potato sack.
You're not wrong.
Alright, I hope you guys are enjoying the deep lore of the
It's
RNG's
canon.
podcast. It's 100% canon.
So Stallion, we've had an interesting week this past week since more was on last week.
Yeah, you guys noticed that we're guest list. We're a guest list. We're guestless. Because we're lonely. Nobody likes us. That's what it is.
I don't know if that's the reason.
You're right. It's
But
because I suck and I forgot to ask anyone. All right. So if anyone has any suggestions for who they want to see on the podcast, please tell us. We'll do our best.
leave it in the comments down below if you'd like to see someone come back or someone come on for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
So it has been
a
a
lot
week.
of interesting things happened in this past week, namely the TWAB and Heroic Menagerie.
Twab, I'm weird. All right. Yeah. Heroic Menagerie, sure.
And the only difference between normal Menagerie and Heroic Menagerie is the light level.
And
Right?
you can
The
fail.
encounters are, and you can fail.
Yeah.
The encounters are pretty much the same throughout
Yes.
the entirety of Menagerie, but you only get one chance at each encounter.
Yeah.
Once you get to the boss, it's just pretty much a bullet sponge, because you are at a 20 light level disadvantage.
It's hilarious.
And-
It's kind of like week one all over again.
Yep, pretty much. But you and I have not stepped in it yet.
No, we're bad Destiny players. We've been busy doing other stuff. I don't want to talk about what I've been doing. Makes me sad.
It rhymes with Spambit.
I've been doing Gambit. I've been doing a lot of Gambit. But I'm this close. You can't see my fingers are like almost this close to dredging.
And Hush. And
And-
21% Delirium.
Hush and 21% delirium. Yeah. All of that is going to happen before the end of actually that's not true. No, I'm not going to hit dredging before the end of the week. But Hush and 21% delirium.
Definitely,
And
for
potentially another breakneck, because even though I got it the first time round in one play session, I'm going for it again for the cause.
sure. Different character.
Different character. Precisely.
Uh.
But it's
And
I don't like it. But I found out that I'm a very good invader.
yes, you did.
In the 2 days that I played, I called it Gambit Week on stream. But so far, it's since Tuesday there have been Destiny streams, Apex stream. It's
whole lot of
Saturday,
Gambit.
guys. Like, I've only streamed 3 times, and one of them was today. One of them was this morning.
Yep. And
So
that was a not Destiny
yeah,
stuff.
it was Apex. So worst Gambit week ever.
But still getting that bread.
Still,
Gotta get that bread.
Ugh, dude, I'm obtaining all the grain.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, what's really interesting about Heroic Menagerie is whatever you put into your chalice, you get that your first drop on that character is fully masterwork.
Yeah, so it's not curated, but it is fully masterworked.
So you do have the very random potential. You'll get a masterwork gun that is crap,
But hey, free cause.
but hey, free cores. Or you might be the less than 1% that actually gets a very good roll, and you're like, I'm gonna keep it because it's fully masterwork now. And I hate you forever.
Panda, I feel like you're holding some stuff back there, bud. You okay?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Oh, I can tell.
But also a part of the heroic menagerie, and I don't honestly know where they come from. I don't know if they're random drops. But the class-specific swords.
Yeah, I guess you get them um, just randomly at the end of Heroic Menagerie, from what I can tell. Uh,
Yeah,
I thought maybe they would be guaranteed on your first run or whatever,
I
but
don't know if that's the case.
it is not the case. No. I have very little knowledge about Heroic Menagerie, but what I do know is that you get a guaranteed masterwork item on your first roll of the week, and these swords are not guaranteed. That's it. That's the end of the stuff that I know.
What are your opinions on the swords?
I mean, I like the idea of class-specific weapons. I always have ever since D1 with the class-specific legendary special and then the class-specific exotic. I do not like swords though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think swords are in a good place right now, and I don't think that they're a viable option. So having them is like, yeah, that's cool. I know a lot of people, their sword of choice on the hunter is the quick fang, so maybe they like the upgraded version of it, but I'm not one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just I don't know. I'm not a big fan of swords, just in general. If swords get a buff, that'd be pretty cool. Having a unique sword for each class, because they do look and act slightly different, right?
Yep, they do.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the future they'll be cool, but as of right now, swords in general are just kind of booty. It's
I
unfortunate.
agree. I agree. What I don't like about the swords is that there's technically now two lightweight frame swords,
Yeah.
and both of them are locked to hunters. There's two heavy swords, and both of them are locked to titans. We have a plethora of adaptive frame swords, which makes the warlock ones useless.
Yeah. Why use that when you can use a better heavy? Well, that
When
can
you
be
can
said
use
about anything.
literally anything else. But you're not pigeonholed into just one sword. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to use an adaptive sword on any class, you got it. But if you want to use a lightweight frame sword, you're stuck using hunters, which I think is nice, but I would have liked to see them also branch out to have more frames, more swords for, each individual class.
Yeah, I was kind of
Um,
hoping that with the return of the class exotic swords, they would no longer be class exclusive swords. Sorry, that they would no longer be class exclusive, and it
yeah,
would just kind of
I
open
was
up the
hoping for
sword
that
pool a
too.
little bit. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Also,
It is not.
I feel the need to apologize for any background noise because there are some birds that are going crazy outside my window. I also have my fan on because it's very very hot. So there
Heat
might be a
waves.
little bit of background noise coming through from me. I apologize for that. But it ain't going nowhere. Unless you want me to go fight a bird
With his bare hands.
with my bare hands. Not my human hands. Or my horse hands. My bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't that be your joke?
Yes, that is my joke.
Yeah.
Passed down to you.
Great. Alright, so we got the swords. Those are a thing. Masterworked thing is a thing. So we talked about the fact that your first role in the heroic menagerie is going to be a guaranteed masterwork.
Correct.
As it stands right now, you can get that guaranteed masterwork one, and you don't even have to look at the roll, and you keep running back and forth between load zones to keep opening the chest, refilling your chalice, opening the chest. But it was announced this week that that's going away.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that?
I am not happy with it.
Okay.
Um, simply because it just makes the grind longer. It artificially extends the grind for weapons,
Yeah.
right? Because you're already grinding for runes. You're
Yes.
already going into Menagerie on top of getting those runes, X amount of runes. Um,
And here's the thing: the menagerie for some people, the menagerie is a 10-minute activity. Run in, do the two activities, kill the boss, done.
yep.
But if you're solo queuing, or you only have one or two people with you, if there's not communication with the whole squad, sometimes those runs can take anything up to 30 minutes. One gun every 30 minutes is a little bit lackluster, to say
One
the
gun
least.
every 30 minutes on top of grinding for the runes, which could take anywhere between, you know, one Crucible match to 10 to 20.
See, I really thought there was going to be a cap on the runes, like, oh, you have 100 of the Rune of Desire, so you won't get any more Rune of Desires. And I thought, well, if you really want to go the long way about it, maybe that's how you do it. To kind of get some guaranteed runes later on, but no, that's not the case. Maybe the cap is 999, but as it stands right now, there are, 12 different types of runes.
Correct.
So theoretically, you could play for 6-7 hours, nothing but Crucible, and not once get the rune that you want.
Yep.
So I think if they're gonna take away the chest, and I've mentioned this before, I would like a rune trading system. Like, oh, I need a rune of excess, right? And I have 100 runes of joy. I'll trade away 2 of my runes of joy for 1 rune of excess. At Werner or Benedict, whoever, right? Like a trading system for runes, so that even if I spend 7 hours grinding and don't get the rune I want, I have trade fodder.
Yep.
I think something like that would be better, because it kind of lessens the grind a little bit. Because I mean, you remember
But
during the first week when I wanted to go for the Beloved, and I could not get a rune of jubilation for the life of me. And we did Lake of Shadows for like 2 hours. I ended up getting 2 runes. It was very frustrating. So if at the end of all of that, I then went into the menagerie, and I could only pull 1 from the chest, it's kind of a kick in the gut.
yeah, it's definitely. I do kind of understand it because it is an exploit. It's been an exploit since Destiny 1.
Oh yeah,
But at the same time, with all of the stuff that we have to do, because it's not just do Menagerie, pull the lever, leave, come back, and then just pull the lever again. You get like, you know, one of 6 different things, or like strike farming with skeleton keys, where you had 5 keys, and you get like 1 or 2 items. This is a guaranteed drop of what you want, potentially with a masterwork,
yeah,
and 1 for every 30 minutes. Like that's a long activity.
it is. Yeah, I saw some interesting stuff on Twitter. The likes of True Vanguard talking about what all he would like to see as kind of a compromise, because it seems that even all of the larger content creators, they have an issue with the way it is as well, or the way it's going to be. So they think a compromise, like, oh, if you run a room perfectly, you get a chest at the end of that you can open. That way, there's a maximum potential of 3 chests per run if you have a good team. I could kind of see that being a solution, but I think sometimes the modifiers hurt you more than skill does.
Yeah, even with a God Squad, you can still fail on
Yeah.
somewhat easy-ish encounters just because of random things that happen.
I also think that it would result in a lot of blueberries being like loading in. They light the lamps, and they see that the first one that comes up is the Mockery, and they go, nope, and then they just keep leaving and joining new menageries until eventually it pops up and it's like, the Gauntlet. We can nail that. And they scuttle in and they do their thing. So I think while a solution like that is possibly viable, it's by no means perfect, because
Yeah,
there's still very much the issue of people leaving to look for the activities that they want to do to maximize loot potential.
of course. And you always have that with um, any blueberries pretty much in any activity. Hey, we're losing by like 2 points in Crucible. I'm out. Peace. I don't
Yeah,
want to deal with this. I want to win the entire game. Like,
yeah,
it's just
exactly.
gonna happen.
I
Um,
personally think that the best solution they could give would be to drop the timer to 2 minutes instead of 5. 2 minute timer, and you don't have to leave and reload. You could just plug your chalice and open it X amount of times, say 3 times, as long as you know, beat the boss. So instead of it being based on how fast a guardian is, actually, even in that case, you could leave the timer as it is, if they really wanted to.
just cap it at 3 openings
Yeah,
per guardian, because that still gives the room for, people to explore, which is why they had the timer in
yeah,
the first place.
yeah, exactly.
Um, so at least increase the amount of loot that we get, whether that's if you have a perfected chalice and you're doing normal, you get triple drops or something. Um, like there's a couple different ways that you could go about increasing the loot that we get while still keeping the time. Um, but we are starting to delve into backseat developer.
Uh, yeah, which is
Hard. It's
it
hard
is.
not to,
Yeah.
especially
I
with a
know
game
that
that we are
I
very
know that
passionate
games
about.
are difficult to make, they're difficult to develop. I appreciate all the work that everyone at Bungie does. However, when it comes to big changes like this, I don't think you can give us an abundance of loot for 1 month and then say no more and snatch it right out of our tiny little baby hands. I play a hunter, we have baby hands. Snatch it out of our tiny little baby hands and say no, one per run. Because I have enough trouble
Yeah.
finding motivation to go back into the menagerie as it is. If I have, how do I put this? If I'm only getting one piece of gear for every run, I am gonna start settling. So
Hmm.
if I wanted to go for a beloved and I wanted snapshot quick draw with whatever, right, and then I get snapshot moving target, am I really gonna do another 30-minute activity for one more try, or am I gonna say snapshot good enough?
Yeah.
So you can't give us all these interesting guns with all these interesting rolls,
It
and
also kind of,
you know, limit that as much as it is.
it's also going to suck for anyone who joins midway through the season.
Yeah, no, for
Because I
sure.
know a bunch of casual people who are, kind of into menagerie. They like the activities, but they just don't have the time. They can do like maybe one menagerie um, per week, right?
Yeah,
They're going to have significantly less loot than what if someone who just grinded menagerie for the first month got their god rolls and like pieced out, which I don't
yeah,
know,
no,
kind of
exactly,
impacts the entire community as a whole.
for sure.
So,
I mean, yeah, like I know plenty of people that, I mean, they're exactly that. They only have time to run maybe 2 or 3 menageries a week, which, you know, as of what is it, the ninth, they're going to be changing it.
yep,
So
the
as of
9th
the
of July.
ninth, they're they're only going to have enough time to maybe get their powerful rewards from menagerie. Not to mention farming the stuff that they actually want. Because the thing is, when you're a lower light level, it's less about what you want and more about what you need. So if I'm a warlock and I'm sat at say 745, and everything's 750 except my bond, and I only get one run at the menagerie, and I know it's going to be a powerful piece of gear. Do I go for the Outringer that I've been farming for, or do I go for a bond to get my lat level up so that I can take part in other activities? Almost every time, people are going to go for whatever gives them the light level boost, because it's
Hmm.
necessity over desire.
Yep.
I think that's kind of sad.
It's definitely a change that we're going to have to deal with more than anything else, which is annoying.
I can foresee a change, a secondary change coming to the menagerie. Maybe a compromise of some sort after a few weeks of it being the new way that it is. Or at least I hope there's going to be a compromise.
I do hope so. Only because it's going to be... There's already community backlash. Not necessarily backlash, there's a lot of community feedback on not liking the change. And it hasn't even been implemented yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So, at the very least, hopefully Bungie's listening to that and, brings it to the proper channels, saying, hey, we haven't even put this out yet and it's not good. So I hope at least they incentivize it a little bit more with something. I'm not sure what they would do.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it actually turns out. Because
Yeah.
there are some changes that people were all up in a huff about that didn't end up being that bad. Like the Lunar Howl change.
Yeah.
People were mad about it for a while. And then it actually happened. And people were like, oh, this is still a very viable option. Cool, whatevs. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be fine. Hopefully, hopefully by the time it's implemented, every blueberry on Earth knows how to play the menagerie. And it doesn't take 47 minutes to get to the boss.
Can we not talk about that? Please. I already talked about that once.
I know. But, you know what?
So bad.
Listen, I've been suffering all week. You need to suffer a little bit, okay?
One thing that I wanted to talk about, because we've now fully finished the 3-week cycle of Menagerie bosses.
Yeah.
We have also fully completed the 3-week cycle of Warner bounties.
Yes, 12 bounties. Some of them forced me into Gambit, and I didn't like that.
Well, now you're doing Gambit anyway, but...
Well, yeah, but this wasn't last week. Alright?
But what do we think? How do we feel on the Warner bounties?
So the initial draw of the Warner bounties for me was less the powerful gear and more the runes and Imperials. But now that I've finished my Chalice, anything that I would have got Imperials from before gives me runes. So I'm kind of balancing the pros and cons of the Warner bounties, and I don't know if it's worth it for a couple of runes. If it's stuff that you're just going to naturally get done, sure. Like the experience one, pick that up. Loot legendary engrams, why not? Prime engrams, whatever. But the stuff that's like, oh, go out of your way to do, 8 Gambit bounties. It's like... But I don't want to do Gambit, is the thing. So, in that case, or in that situation, I'm just going to let that one fall to the wayside. So I think the incentive should be a bit more interesting. Like, maybe if it included the Menagerie loot pool as the drop,
That would be nice.
Would be nice.
Just a very big slot machine pull of any of the Menagerie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally any of the rune combinations will come from this thing. So that's all the armor, which is... actually, I have a graph here. I can tell you exactly how many of the things there are.
There's at least 20 pieces of armor.
Interval music. Woo! Yeah, so there's 20 pieces of armor, and then there's 7 times... What's 7 times 4?
28?
28. There's 28 weapons.
48? Wow.
So that,
it's a big slot machine pull.
Yeah, that's 48 things that you could potentially get from the Warner bounties. But the thing is, within that pool, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 17 Season of Opulence things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stuff in there that's kind of semi harder to get your mitts on, like an Arentil or a Dustrock or the Twilight Oath, you know? So I
Mm-hmm.
think just having those bounties give a powerful version of whatever menagerie thing it pulls from in that giant slot machine, I think it could be cool. And I think they would be worth doing.
I think that would be nice if it was after your chalice had been fully complete.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just gives
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
world drops.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, once your chalice is complete, because really, once your chalice is complete, you're just doing it for the runes. Because by that point, you are 750.
Yeah.
I know I
Well,
hit
okay, no,
750.
hold on. That's not necessarily true. Because you have to remember that you and I do other powerful things. So if someone were to focus exclusively on leveling up the chalice, there is a chance that they end up at like 730 with a complete chalice.
That's true.
Without being max level. Because not everyone does all of the powerful gear stuff like we do, because we're giant nerds. So
That's fair.
they might still be going after the powerful gear, but yeah, for the most part, it's very, 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 very easy to level up your light level in Destiny right now, because there is so much stuff that gives powerful gear. With every season, they add like 3 or 4 activities that give powerful gear.
On top of all of the other stuff from last season and the
Yeah,
season before.
so on top of the vanilla milestones.
Oh yeah.
So there's so much powerful gear to be got. There are so many ways to go about it. That leveling up is not too big of a deal. So even if they have a completed chalice, they still might not do the wonder bounties for the sake of powerful gear, depending on which bounties are up, right?
Yeah, and like you
Um,
said, some people might really like, or at least you said, you don't like Gambit. So someone else might really love Gambit. They'll knock out that bounty in a day, whereas they might not like Crucible, or they might
well,
not like
okay,
Strikes.
2 days.
Um, well, you can do the 5 bounties for him, and then the Gambit Prime daily bounties also count.
Do
So there's
they?
another 4. They do.
Interesting. So I guess it's
Yeah,
just the Crucible and Vanguard ones that get shafted.
yeah. I think I
Alright, well.
knocked that one out in a couple hours,
Yeah.
because you only needed to do a couple Gambit bounties and then just a bunch of Dreaming City stuff, which was nice.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Um,
Like you said, it gets to a point where eventually people are just doing it for the runes. And I think there are much easier ways to get runes than that.
I mean, some of them, like we've kind of covered, is just gonna happen organically.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
picking
yeah,
up
yeah.
the Prime Engrams, doing the experience, stuff like that is just gonna happen organically. So picking those up, getting a couple extra runes from stuff you're already doing is just gonna, be
But
icing
here's the
on the
thing: is
cake.
like, the past few weeks they've been a priority for me. Like I get on Tuesday and I'm like, ooh, better go to Werner. Side note, I go to Werner and not Benedict, even though Benedict is way more convenient. Like I like the ship, man. I like the ship. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's been a top priority for me. But in 2 or 3 weeks from now, even next week, if I get on Tuesday, I don't think my top priority is not going to be, ooh, I better go grab these bounties from Werner. If it rolls around to the Monday after reset, I'm like, I forgot to do any of my Werner bounties. Am I going to be torn up about it? No. Not even slightly. So I don't know. They seemed really important at first, less so now. And I think they should
Yeah.
do something to spice them up a little bit.
I'm not sure how they do that though.
Space magic.
Space magic?
Yeah. The Warlocks will figure it out.
I'm sure someone will.
It's not our job to build the game, even though we really wish it was.
Um, Along a similar vein to the Werner bounties, the triumphs uh, for the menagerie.
Yeah,
Some of them relatively easy, others less so.
that is correct. Those are truth words. Yes. What about them?
Um, I mean, you and I have talked about going after the shadow title,
Yeah, I really want to.
and some of them are less easy than others.
Yeah, like three-manning the heroic menagerie. That's one of them.
Yep, as well as the other heroic menagerie ones where you have to finish with time left on the clock or 0 deaths. That's gonna be hard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Actually, no. It'll
Um,
be easy. We'll just we'll go through. We'll do one run of the heroic menagerie ever. There'll be three of us. We'll ace every activity. We
we
won't
won't
die
die
once. We'll nail the whole thing. Time left on the clock. We'll even do the Hatsupico secret triumph while we're at it.
Is that this one this week? The one where you have to one person per
Yeah.
Vex thing?
Only one we haven't got done. You and I.
Yeah, I'm I'm looking forward to it. I'm also not.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a
I mean,
bit of
the
grind.
tiles are supposed to be tough. And at least
Some of them.
this
Some
way.
of them.
Well, alright, yeah. I am on the cusp of Dredgen, and I didn't even realize I was close to it until like 3 days ago.
As well as Wayfair for just playing the game in year one,
Yeah.
collecting sets and stuff.
Um. And even Cursebreaker is not that big of a deal.
No. No,
Except
it's
to
not.
remember to do stuff over a 6-week period.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting off topic. The point is, the point is, I do want to go for that tile, and some of the stuff in there, some of the triumphs are going to be a little bit tough. But I think the triumphs or the titles that are tough to get are the ones that are going to be even more satisfying. That people can teabag when they kill me in the Crucible.
Oh yeah. This guy's a shadow. Look at him doing PvE.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna lie. I do get a little bit like that sometimes. Not to that extent, but like, and not in a rude way either. But I'll see like a blacksmith on the enemy team, and I'm just like, oh, you played a lot of Black Armory. That means you've played more of this game than me. I should be worried. Even if you're a PvE player, you're probably better than me.
Yeah. It just, I hope it doesn't become so, I don't know, what's the, like, Dredgen and Wayfarer to me are just so bland. Like, if I see someone with Dredgen in the Crucible, I'm like, what are you doing? This is not the same title.
Alright, great. So I guess I'm not going for Dredgen, guys. Never mind. Gambit week's over. I just need the ghost, man.
That's been 3 resets.
I know.
You're at 1?
I know.
Hopefully a Gambit week comes out, or a Gambit triple infamy.
Yeah. Gambit week 2, Electric Boogaloo. I dread the day. I dredge in the... Okay, never mind.
Please stop.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. I quit. I'm leaving the podcast. Alright, so... Yeah, so the triumphs.
The triumphs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Shadow is not going to be too difficult to go for. Okay, no. Ignore that. I have a lot of the ones for Shadow already, because they come from just playing Menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the ones that are going to be tough are going to be really tough. And I like that. Because it's kind of like... it kind of gives you the motivation to go for the tiles, right? Like, look at Unbroken. A lot of it is not that bad. But then you get to the one, it's like... Legend, huh? Nope. But then when you get everything
Yeah.
else done and you're looking at it, it's like, oh, I have, what is it, 10 out of 11? How many, is it
Yep.
11? I'm gonna
It's
assume it's
11.
11. So like, oh, I have 10 out of 11. All I need is Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's do that. So I think the easier ones, the easier triumphs are necessary to make the harder ones more realistic. Because if everything was hard, for
No one would
example,
do it.
blacksmith, right? Like, I look at that and I'm like, I would love to have the title blacksmith. Because I am a blacksmith. But I look at what I need to do for it and I'm just like, I don't want to do any of that. Thank you very much. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm just... How about we just don't and pretend we did? You know? So,
Mm-hmm.
when there are too many that are like a little bit tough, it gets overwhelming. You don't really know where to start. There's no single goal. It's a whole lot of things that you have to do. So it kind of puts you off of going for those titles. Which is why I'm incredibly impressed whenever I see anyone with Blacksmith, Reckoner, the other one, Riven's Bane.
Yep.
Because I see that and I'm like, wow, you really wanted that title.
Commitment.
Commitment. But yeah, I don't know. I like looking at my title progress and being like, Cursebreaker, I need 2 things. Dredgen, I need 1 thing. Unbroken, never mind. Because as much as I would love Unbroken, no.
Still not good enough.
I'm not. I'm really not. Maybe... Alright, that's it. You heard it here first, folks. Panda doesn't know I'm going to say this. Next season, Shadowkeep. Me and Panda, 2-man our way to Legend. I'm not...
Does that sound realistic enough?
I'm not
Sorry.
kidding.
If we honestly 2-man our way to Legend, I might poop my pants.
There's enough of this season left that we could go for it this season.
Probably. We just have to, commit to doing Crucible, specifically comp.
Yeah.
Which maybe in 2 weeks I'd be down to do. Kind of comped out from our Revoker quest.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if you know this, but we're not good at comp. We're really not.
We did pretty okay.
We did pretty okay, but I don't think we're legend worthy.
We can at least hit 2100. Maybe go for Mountaintop.
Yeah, okay. If you and I 2-man our way to 2100, I'll go for Mountaintop this season with you.
Sounds good.
We'll get Mountaintop. I've been wanting Mountaintop anyway, so.
You're better with grenade launchers than I am.
Is this based entirely off of the lucky shot when you were using Arbalist in Random Rumbles?
Maybe.
Insane, yeah.
Entirely.
So a little bit of backstory there. We were doing Random Rumbles, which, by the way, if anyone out there wants to get involved in Random Rumbles, we happen to have a Discord Scrim server, PS4 Scrims, and we pull from there a lot to do stuff. We like those guys. They all smell of roses. So if you want to smell of roses, there'll be a link in the download. But anyway, we were doing Random Rumbles, and I got a grenade launcher, and Panda had an Arbalist. And we traded one time. That was it. That was the big reveal. The worst twist ending ever. I've become current day Shyamalan.
But it is very fun.
Incredibly so. So I think we're done talking about triumphs now, right? I can't think of anything else. I can't think of any other triumphs that really worry me in terms of the menagerie stuff. I think Shadow is going to be very attainable once we get into the raid.
Yeah. Once we finish the raid, get you through it, and start learning perfecting the ins and outs of it, we should be fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. We just need to find
plus
a good,
we have
very consistent
the
time.
rest of the season.
Yeah, we have a ton of time, dude. Like, we're not even a month in. I'm ready.
Raid Part 2. Electric Boogaloo.
One of these days, we'll do an entire episode talking about how the raid went, and it's just going to be us just crying for 45 minutes straight.
It's not that bad.
You haven't played the raid with me.
but I have gotten to part 1 of the boss, so
That's good.
yeah. Um,
Speaking of bosses, this is a terrible segue. So, we got a little hint this week from the Bunge. I'm not calling them that. The Bungie from Bungie. That on Tuesday, as we all know, as is scheduled, annual pass holders will get access to the beginning of the Lumina quest. Ooh.
yes.
The Lumina, which is the sister weapon to the Thorn.
It is.
You excited?
There have been leaks about it. I don't know how far you want me to get into this because as a weapons person, anytime there's new weapons, I get like 5 DMs from 5 different people asking, "Hey, have you seen this?" Like, at this point, yes. So any new weapons, nothing surprises me.
Yeah, so we won't do any spoily boys. We will talk about the quest in depth next week once we've done it. And we'll talk about the gun in depth, and I imagine you'll probably be doing an in-depth review for
I will be doing an in-depth review for Lumina. Lumina?
Lumina.
But to just make sure that everyone is on the same page, it will be a Kinetic 150, literally a carbon copy of Thorn, just with a twist.
Yeah, the sister weapon to Thorn, literally.
If you had any doubts that it was going to be like a 140, 110, or 180 or something new, it's not. It's Thorn with a twist.
I've taken to calling it Sexy Thorn. It's just me.
But we'll have to see how it handles. We'll have to see how it performs in game because you know, looking at a screenshot of it or even seeing gameplay of it is completely different from us. You know, actually.
Oh, 100%. You remember when we got the first reveal of the last word and people saw it two tapping that the Dawnblade, and everyone was like, "Yo, it's gonna be so sick!" And then in their first game, they come up against a Dawnblade and they're like, "Oh, I've been preparing for this all my life, sucker!" And then they die immediately. Yeah, so.
They shoot twice, walk away, get hit by the Dawnblade sword, and they're like, "What?
What? 11 damage? I thought this thing had range!" Anyway.
Joke's on you.
Anyway, so we did get a little tidbit from Bungie. The Bunge, leading into it. We did get a little tidbit from the Bunge, which is that to start the quest, we're going to want to hang out on the EDZ, which is also where we found the Thorn quest.
Yes, the Thorn quest started in the salt mines, which I think is hysterical still.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
Do you not?
I didn't think it was funny in the first place, so no.
I thought it was so funny. It's so apt.
Thorn wasn't nearly as much of a terror in Destiny 1 as people make it out to be. It was bad, don't get me wrong. Very, very powerful. But you could counter it.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that, but I just heard so many horror stories that I found it funny.
That's the thing, is it's all horror stories. It's all like, you know how every teacher has the horror story of the one kid that was swinging in their chair, they were swinging back, and then they fell and they died? None of those exist. Same thing with Thorn.
No one dies.
No one dies in animes. They have protagonists.
Wonderful.
Never mind. So yeah, EDZ. I'm kind of hoping it like stems in the same place, like starts in the same place, and maybe it's like it's similar to the Thorn quest, but what's the word I'm looking for? Less crap.
It's gonna be unique. It's gonna be different.
Yeah. And I was thinking that on Tuesday, because as I mentioned earlier, I've been playing some Apex, so I haven't been just pure Destiny nerd all week. On Tuesday, the Apex Season 2 Battle Pass thingy releases. So I'm thinking I'm going to play that for a couple of hours, and then once you get online, we'll play through the Lumina quest.
Sounds good. You know what else happens on Tuesday?
Tell me.
It's also related to your favorite superhero.
Oh yeah. Spider-Man Far From Home comes out.
Yes, Spider-Man
I'm
Far From
so excited.
Home comes out. I am very behind on all of the Spider-Mans.
I swear to God, dude, I'm like an 8-year-old kid when it comes to Spider-Man.
I just recently saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
It was beautiful. You loved every second of it. You cried. I know you did.
I did have some feels, got in the feels train.
How many times through the movie did you find yourself bobbing along to the soundtrack and think, "Oh, what the fuck am I doing?"
Well, I heard the soundtrack first, um, through actually, funny enough, Destiny montages.
Oh my god.
Because I'm that nerd. You're an 8-year-old nerd when it comes to Spider-Man. I am just a Destiny nerd. There was one to What's Up Danger, and then another to Riot.
What's Up
Um,
Danger is absolutely my jam. And the scene in the spoilers, the scene in the movie where he like jumps off of the wall and just like drops for a minute. Such a good scene. Such a good scene.
that entire, uh,
Sequence.
yeah, I guess sequence would work. The little musical bit was very well done,
No.
and the editing. I do know a little bit about it. The editing to make it look very comic-y was a very big challenge for the animators and the editors of Into the Spider-Verse.
So I guess what we're saying is, Into the Spider-Verse animators and stuff, all of you lovely people that made that amazing movie, hit us up. I have mad lore knowledge about Destiny. Let's get this shit going. Into the
Let's make a
Destiny
comic
verse.
about that. Into the Destinyverse. Zavala into the Destinyverse.
No, Kate 6 into the Destiny verse.
Hawthorne into the Destinyverse.
All right, hang on. Let's take a minute there. I don't want to run around being like, oh, I gotta take 5 minutes to stitch up my poncho.
Brother Vance
Perfect.
into the Osirisverse.
Into the Osiris verse. Or Osiris into the Vex verse. Literally just the Infinite Forest. We should get back to Destiny.
We should. We should
Or,
indeed.
alternatively, we can run out of topics and call it for the week. Because we're out of topics.
We are. Really quick, we will be having a guest on next week. We're trying to get some of the lovely members from the root team of Charlemagne.
Yeah.
If
Everybody's
you don't
favorite
know
Discord bot.
Warmind.
Yep.
If
Whatever.
you don't know Charlemagne and you are a Destiny Discord, you are severely missing out on a whole bunch of features, leaderboards, LFG, scan commands, different various commands to show off your weapons, show off your gear. It is such a very full bot, Warmind.